Damien Brown, you're on Half the Battle with Dan and Shaq. How's it going, man?
Going awesome, man.
It's good to hear. So, dude, I mean, look, the fight's right around the corner. It's coming up this weekend, you and Frank Camacho. And look, Frank's the kind of guy that comes to scrap. You're the kind of guy that comes to fight as well. It's an intriguing matchup on paper. You excited about it?
Yeah, look, man, I'm pumped. I mean, it's going to be nice not to have to look for a fight in there. I think the fight's going to come to me, so it should be pretty awesome for me, awesome for Frank, and even better for the fans.
Yeah, Damien, nice to meet you, man. This fight has Fight of the Night written all over it. And your style, man, I enjoyed so much because, when you settle into a fight, you really let your hands go on the inside. I'm sure you're looking to do that against Frank Camacho. Now, are you going to come in here a little more safe, or are you just trying to be the typical Damien Brown, the guy that likes to put on a show for the fans?
I'll just come in and be me, man. I've made plenty of promises to the UFC and the matchmakers that, it doesn't matter whether it's the last fight or the first fight on my contract. I'm going to come in there, I'm going to fight, I'm going to do my thing, and the results will be what they'll be. So, I can't really fight, depending on what's going on around me. I just got to fight. So I'll just come in there and be me.
Man, how do you feel about your career progression so far? Because every single fight, you're looking better. I know your last fight didn't go your way, but up until that point, man, you were looking great in there. So how do you feel about this progression?
Man, you know what? I feel good. I feel like I'm developing good as a martial artist and as a person. And I feel like, the last fight was a single punch changed everything, but I definitely felt like I was up on the scorecards in that first round. I felt like if it had went the distance or even had went into the third round and he started fatigued, then I would have finished the fight anyway. But, that was our game plan, was to go forward, put his back against the fence and get the finish, and it didn't happen. But, like you said, we looked good up until that point. So I feel like I'm developing well and I'm doing the right things to be better each fight. And I think you guys will see a better version of me this time around as well.
Now, Damien, I actually met you in Atlanta. That's where I'm from, when you fought Cesar Arzamendia at a UFC 201. How did you enjoy our city, man?
Man, I loved it. It was like I loved Atlanta, and I did a few things while I was there. Went to the zoo and all that sort of stuff. Went to a gun range and fired some weapons that I normally wouldn't fire back home in Australia. But man, there's lots of homeless people out there. I gave out heaps of water. But yeah, no, it was a beautiful city, man. I had a blast. I just love traveling, so I don't think there's such thing as a bad city. It's just a different experience.
Do you enjoy fighting in your home country, or do you prefer traveling to the States?
I like fighting at home, but it does come with a little bit of extra pressure. You're always with your family there, or like my parents fly to every fight in Australia, so and I had my mum in New Zealand as well, so it adds a little bit of pressure, getting knocked out like I did in front of your parents. I didn't think about it going into it, but afterwards I felt terrible about it. So probably the best fight, like I've had 27 fights now, the best fight I've ever had was the one in the States. I had a blast, took some mates over to corner me, and it's just real relaxed, real chilled and no pressure, and we went in there and we had fun and enjoyed the trip. So that was probably my best experience. I'd like to fight over there again. But, fighting at home it's nice because you don't have to try and get all your family over there, the added costs and all that sort of stuff, as well as the travel and the jet lag. So that's really the only bonus about fighting here, man. I'll fight anywhere.
How'd you develop your aggressive style, Damien? I know we've been talking over the years, man, but it's really showing your last two fights, especially, man, the John Tuck fight. If someone starts to slow down against Damien Beatdown Brown, you're going to go out there and put it on them. So how'd you develop that style, man?
Man, I just noticed from real early on in my career that I had the gas tank to go 3 rounds. I mean, I don't do hill sprints, man. I don't do freaking beach sprints or anything like that. Like, I do it occasionally as part of my programming, but it's not like every Saturday or every Sunday I'll go out and do a sprint session. I just think that some people have got the gas in the tank, and if you've got the heart to match the gas, then you put it all on the line for 3 rounds, and that's how you come out. You know what I mean? Like, I just noticed early on in my career that I had a good endurance base and that I could go 3 rounds, and I think I credit that to a extensive childhood and teenage years in rugby league and probably my military time and fitness. So match that with the never say die attitude and live by the sword, die by the sword, and it's inevitable. That's just what happens.
And I've been following you and Frank Camacho on Instagram, and it seems like both of you guys are really picking up for this training camp. What do you think this fight is going to come down to in the end?
Me not getting hit. Like, not getting hit, but me not getting hit with one of those sledgehammer overhand rights or left hooks or something that he throws. Like, he throws big punches, man. He comes for the kill. The dude's trying to kill you. He'll take your head off with every single punch that he throws. And, I think as long as he doesn't land a clean shot, I'll win the fight. But, yeah, I'm not gonna say that I go out there and knock him out or anything like that. Like, I don't really know how the fight's going to play out. All I know is that I've trained for 3 rounds, and if it goes the distance, you can rest assured that I'll put in the work to get the decision. So, yeah, I think, as far as putting in the work during the camp goes, I always put in the work, but he's dropping from 170 to 155. It's not as comfortable as fighting 170, so you kind of got to put a little extra work in and, do all the little extras that you would have in the past, maybe cut the corners on. So, yeah, I expect that he's working hard and he'll come in a different fighter.
So does that excite you that, look, this guy's going to come to fight you, and, you had a fight with Alan Patrick, and, he tried to hump your leg, he tried to make the whole crowd boo, but then you took on John Tuck, and John Tuck actually came to fight. So do you get up more for these kind of fights where the dudes actually want to fight you?
I think they're easier fights to get ready for. You got a guy like Alan Patrick who's boring as shit, doesn't want to fight. He just comes in and sort of holds you down. Like when I fought that dude, I had more sub attempts than he did, and he's a 3-time world champion black belt. Like, you got these guys, they're hard to train for because you don't even need to train your striking for that. You just train your takedown defense. Obviously I had six days notice, it's a little difficult, but if you had a full camp, you just train your takedown defense, and then you got a game plan around their boring ass style. If you got someone like John Tuck, that even though he's going to try and take you down, he's not humping your leg, man. John Tuck's taking you down and trying to finish you. He's going to take you back and choke you until you're asleep. Or if he stands up, he's game. So fighting those guys is easier because when they get you down, they're going to go for it. Scrambles are going to happen. And as long as you can out-scramble them, you get back to your feet. So, yeah, I like the fight against Frank. I think he showed against Jing Liang that he'll try and finish him on the feet. He tried to finish him on the ground. That creates holes, creates scrambles. Scrambles create exciting fights, and fans get what they pay for.
So, Damien, I feel like every time we talk, we have to mention how Australian MMA is looking more promising than it ever has. And now you guys have a world champion, man. You got Robert Whittaker. And, as far as I'm concerned, he's the undisputed champ. What was it like for Australia when Robert Whittaker went out there and defeated Yoel Romero?
Oh, man, it was like tear-jerking for any, diehard fans would have been, we've never had that before, It's like you put that next to Australia making the World Cup in the soccer for the first time in 28 years, which we did, a decade or so ago. It's amazing, Like it's an amazing feat. I like the fact that we both fought on the local circuit at the same time, and even as a UFC fighter, I find some kind of inspiration in someone like Rob Whittaker. Like just taking it a fight at a time, man, putting that win streak together, and then when you get there, things happen. He's never talked shit. He's been respectful. He's always remained a martial artist. He gets better. He does good things for the Aboriginal communities down here. He's just a legit role model, and he's young. Young, married, kids. The dude's got it worked out. So it's it's inspirational story, and it's definitely motivating for anyone that's a fighter. And as a fan, I think it's tear-jerking watching him win a world title. I also think that if GSP defends his belt, I love GSP, man. I've followed him my entire career. He's one of my favourite fighters. But I think Whittaker puts him away. So,
Damien, I watched all your fights earlier this morning, and man, when you get on the inside and when the blood's dripping and that sweat's on the body, your hands are really beautiful. When you're nice and flowy. Where do you have a striking background at all?
Yeah, so probably for close to a decade or so, or maybe like 8 years or something, I did karate as a child. I just went away from it through my teens to play play other sports, and then I started kickboxing when I was like 23 or something like that. When after my deployment to Afghanistan, I started kickboxing again, and so yeah, I did striking mainly, but in my earlier fights, I wrestled because people in Australia couldn't wrestle, and I have a rugby background, so I sort of took to wrestling pretty good compared to most Australians, and it worked for me. But the higher the level, I just go back to my background and get better at my striking, and now I just strike. So I can fight wherever I want to, but I do have a striking background.
So look, Damien, you've finished people in 17 seconds before. You've gone the full 5-round distance before. I've seen you knock people out in the first round. When you envision this fight, how do you think it's going to play out?
I don't want to give away too much of my game plan by the way it's going to play out, because I will very easily. But I think Frank's going to come forward. I can assure you I'm not going to back away for 3 rounds. And, if the fight goes to the ground, I think I win by submission. If the fight stays on the feet, 3rd round finish, maybe a decision. But I don't see the fight ending early unless he ends me. So, I don't think that it'll be a 1st round finish. I think it'll be a fight of the night.
Well, Damien, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us right here, right now on Half the Battles. Any message for the fans before we go?
Yeah, man, follow me. Follow me on YouTube, Damien Beatdown Brown, or social media, Beatdown155. And shout out, to my sponsors that help me, and also Frank for being respectful, man. I love a respectful opponent that comes in as a martial artist and lays it down. So, I'm looking forward to it, man. We're 6 days away.
Damien, thanks so much for the time on Fight Week, my man. Best of luck in the fight, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one, eh?
You too. Peace.